I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm good, and you're back again. You've
I
probably come
am.
back here before you've gone back to Cheltenham. I'm not sure.
Yes,
It could be one or the other.
100%. Yes, I haven't been to Cheltenham for a little while, so
Are
yeah,
you
definitely.
going
I'm
to go
back here
back?
first.
Are you going back?
Hopefully, hopefully at one point. Hopefully, I do love the town as much as the song might suggest. Maybe I don't necessarily, but I do genuinely love the town. So yeah. Hopefully one day, or
Right.
hopefully soon enough. Anyway.
Now, we were talking on the messenger, and you were saying about an upcoming album, the next album.
Yeah, yeah.
Talk to me
That's
about that.
Yeah,
Give me
that
some facts.
started quite soon. So I wasn't necessarily thinking about doing another record,
Mm-hmm.
like especially not straight away anyway.
Yeah.
And then I had a bright idea. I have a friend, a very good friend of mine,
Mm-hmm.
called Koresh, who, by the way, I'll give him a shout out because
All
he
right.
has won Popmaster UK on TV. He's
Oh wow.
also won the hit list on TV. The man is a genius when it comes to knowing music.
Yeah.
He's just a genius with his music knowledge. And but I remembered that he is actually a drummer as well.
Oh yeah.
And one of the reasons I hadn't done Metroland with a full band and it was stripped back is purely limitations.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how to create drum tracks. I really have no clue in how to
Yeah.
create a drum
Yeah.
track electronically even. So um, I spoke to Koresh, and Koresh was very happy to be on board with anything I wanted to sort of try and create for a second record.
Yeah.
Um, so that kind of kick started it, really, because I suddenly now I had the means to at least, you know, make the music that I felt a natural progression
Yeah.
to album number two would be.
Mm-hmm.
So we are going full band. We have got one song is pretty much fully finished.
Yeah.
Another song is just waiting on a musician to add some guitar parts,
Mm-hmm.
and that's then fully finished. I have recorded three more songs,
Right.
um, of which are with Koresh.
Mm-hmm.
To add drums, and I have also recorded one more which does not have drums on it, but it's pretty much fully recorded. Apart from I need to figure out what to put at the start of the track,
Yeah.
or how to add some extra instrumentation in. It just needs that tiny bit extra. But yeah, this record's it's going to be bigger sounding, and
Mm-hmm.
also I'm trying to write, like, Metroland was meant to be my most personal work and,
Yeah.
and and truly introspective, but it ended up becoming more political as we discussed last
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
So this is now going back to more introspective, but still, then one of the songs I've written about is a political song,
Yeah.
reflecting on things happening in a country across the pond.
Yeah.
I have got a song
Yeah.
about screen time on mobile phones, which
Mm-hmm.
I guess is political in a way.
Yeah.
Not to do with any kind of, like, it's political in the sense of, like, it's so. Oh no, it's not political. It's social commentary. That's
Yeah.
social
Yeah. I
commentary.
know what you mean. Yeah.
Um, yeah, the not title track, because there isn't a title to the album yet.
Mm-hmm.
But the opening track is a song about London's music scene. So that's
Yeah.
kind of just like a reflection of. Again, it's another song of place, because I seem to write
Yeah.
lots about
Yeah.
places. And the one that I've already completed, that I just need to find something to add
Mm-hmm.
to it to flesh out the sound a bit more. That's a very personal song, so that is genuinely personal, and I'm writing personal stuff
Yeah.
now. Is what I'm doing. So yeah, it's going to be different. Lots of people featuring on it as well, including yourself, because
Yeah.
there is a freedom. The Dan Wicks Freedom Choir are
Oh
featuring
yeah.
on the opening track, and the whole of the New Serpents are featuring in that choir, and many other people in the music industry. It's all people in the music industry that I know and are good friends of mine. So
There's
I'm getting loads
hundreds.
of people on that. Yeah, well, not yet, not
Yeah.
yet. I've probably got. I think I've got about. I think probably got about 10 vocals on it so
Yeah.
far, which is pretty decent. No,
Mm-hmm.
it is more than that. It's more than 10. That's a lie. It is more than 10, because I know it is, because I'm making the booklet with all people's pictures and
Yeah.
names. I know it's more than 10. But yeah, it's growing gradually. But as I say, I'm looking at a 2027 release, so I've got about
Yeah.
ages left. So
So
yeah,
when
it's
you're
moving.
recording this, is it gonna be? Is it like you in one room, or are you doing it isolated, all in your own places and coming together on an email?
Yeah, You're right with that. So again, another thing I wanted to do, the original idea for album number 2, and I was flirting the idea of making 2 versions of the album, making an acoustic stripped back version with just me and one instrument, maybe some, some small bits of instrumentation, a bit like Metroland, but even more sparse kind of thing. And then having the full band version. But that's kind of been abandoned, really. The idea was to make an isolated record, because I've now since moved up into what is effectively a kind of a studio apartment. And I'm away from a lot of people now. So I am kind of quite isolated in just the way I'm living a bit. So the idea was to be a bit more isolated and write from that perspective and record from that perspective. And unless there's a guest playing on it, everything is me. So far I've done all the piano work. So far I've done all the organs. So far I've done all the bass. And as I say, so far I have done all of the guitars, apart from one bit of guitar that is currently away being recorded. So it is mainly me, but vocals is a different story. There are more vocals on this one. I will ask you at some point. I've got an idea for a vocal that I might see if I can pull your leg on.
Okay.
See if I can,
Let me know about
I can get you to help that. But there's I do want to give a shout out to a couple of people about this record. Obviously I've given a shout out to Paresh. I also want to give a shout out to Rebecca Knight as well. Those who don't know Rebecca Knight, she's a fantastic singer-songwriter and great artist in her own right. But she has been really helpful with me in helping me discover my voice as much as I can with this record. It's kind of like she always says, there's the story is there. It's just getting the story out of me, and that's what we're trying to do. And I've been speaking to her a little bit about it and sort of figuring out ways to do it. So she has by that nature de facto become my creative advisor on the record, and that's her title on the record, and that is what she's been doing. So she's been fantastic. So huge shout out to her. And I also want to give a huge shout out to Andrew Pearce as well. Andrew E. Pearce, another fantastic artist, just because he was incredible. He basically lent his vocals for the Freedom Choir to be part of that, but he also recorded this stunning vocal where he was like, look, if you want to have this running through the chorus, feel free. If not, then don't use it, kind of thing. And I was like, okay. But he's basically singing this sort of really amazing soulful vocal, loads of vocal licks, etc. And it was so gorgeous. I thought I have to put that somewhere. So he's actually going to start and finish the album with this vocal lick. He's going to start and end the album, and he's given me permission to do that. So a huge shout out to him as well.
So this is a question kind of surrounding that. And I asked Rebecca, you just brought her up. I asked her the same question a few weeks ago. Do you prefer working alone or with other people?
Oh, fascinating. That is fascinating. I don't know, actually. And I'm not saying that's a cop-out answer. I feel more proud of the work I do when I'm writing on my own, I think. I enjoy co-writing. I do enjoy co-writing, but I'm a bit of a control freak. So when I do co-write, I kind of like to co-write for other people rather than for myself, if that makes sense. Although I have in the past had co-written songs for projects that I sort of unofficially put on YouTube and then took them off again. I think with my music, I do like having sort of a creative control. And if I do want to co-write, like with It's Not Easy Being You or Metroland, which obviously was co-written with the incredible Fumes, I will literally say, look, here is what I need, as in here's the section, you've got total creative freedom. I'm asking you to do this because I want your talent on this song, basically. I want your talent in terms of writing. It's never with my own work now, I feel like I'm not going into a room with someone and sitting down blank paper with them. It's always, I've got something, I need to get it over the line and I don't know how to do it, so now I need some help. That's how I view that. I enjoy co-writing with others, though, for their projects. That's the thing, because I can let them have control and basically write for hire. I've been writing a little bit with Terry Allen
Yeah.
for his spoken word projects,
Hmm.
and I've really enjoyed doing that. Terry's great because he actually lets me have creative freedom like I do
Yeah.
when I collaborate for my projects as well. It's
Yeah.
very similar, but I've really enjoyed writing with him, and it's been a lot more collaborative from the get go.
Yeah.
But he kind of is similar to me. He gives me what he's got and then says, "Look, add,"
Do what you
you know.
want.
Yeah, exactly. So it's very similar to me as well in that regard. In terms of performing, well, not performing, as in recording,
Yeah.
I'm much more of an open book with that when it
Yeah.
comes to collaborating,
Hmm.
because I'm not the greatest musician in the world. I'm not the greatest singer. I'm not the greatest at anything. A bit of a jack of all trades, master of none. So I need the masters
Yeah.
basically to help elevate my music at times, which is what Becky Brown did on So Far Away, and again
Yeah.
what Fumes did on It's Not Easy Being You,
Hmm.
with adding the rap section in. And yeah, that's happening on this record. Rebecca Knight features on that really personal song, and she
Yeah.
does this crazily incredible choir vocal effect during what was the solo section.
Yeah.
And I'm in an argument about keeping the guitar solo there or not while she does it. Rebecca really likes it there.
Yeah.
I'm a bit, I don't know, I backwards and forwards from it, so I haven't made a decision yet. But she does that, and that's amazing. And yeah, again, I've got the guitar out. The track where guitar's gonna be added on, and
Yeah.
I won't say who's doing it yet because it's
Hmm.
not officially a recorded thing yet.
Yeah.
But the person who is recording it is a seriously good guitarist. They are seriously good. It's someone that I admire greatly, and I'm very honoured that they are that they have agreed to add guitar to it. So when that's ready to be announced, it will be announced in due course, obviously. And yeah, and obviously then what Koresh does on these tracks, so what he's done so far, especially with the opening track, the London Makes Some Noise it's called,
Yeah.
which is the one about the London music scene. When he added the drums, suddenly it was the first time I've ever heard one of my songs with punch.
Yeah.
As in, there literally was just a drive to it,
Hmm.
where my sort of simple drum tracks that I'd put onto songs before, that it just doesn't give it that.
Yeah.
So him adding actual proper drum tracks to a song just elevated it so much. And I genuinely, I mean, I'm not someone who can cry. I came so close to crying
Yeah.
when he sent me that first track back, because I'd never heard that before.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is mad. I do enjoy collaborating in that regard, and I've enjoyed collaborating with Evolution as well on his album, because he sent me 2 tracks. Both of them were actually a bit of a stretch for me vocally. But again, I offer the vocals. I also wrote some lyrics on one of the tracks as well. But his production skills are incredible. He just made me sound better than I mean, if you heard those original takes, jeez, you would have been like, oh my god. Wow.
Have you still got them?
I don't know if I do. I think I do. I think I do still have them on my computer just in case. They will never see the light of day. They probably need to be deleted.
You can't delete them. You've got to look back at them in years to come and say, got a lot of better saying.
or look back at them in years to come and go, yeah, that Evolution guy, he is talented. He can what he can do to a vocal is incredible.
So you've got this album, you do the music, you do the Northern Exposure one, you do podcasts. God, you do everything, don't you? So, but out of it all, what are you most proud of? Out of everything, radio show, everything. What is there one thing? If you could delete everything else and say this is the one, what is it?
Oh, don't make me choose. Because the problem is, the podcast is my baby, right?
Yeah.
That is my baby and my baby only.
Yeah.
The radio show, there's people involved. The magazine, there's people involved.
Yeah.
So it's like, my album, there's people involved. There's East London Recordings, there's Fumes, there's Becky Brown, there's Rishi Gohill, who did all the artwork. There's all people involved.
Yeah.
So it's apart from my podcast. You know what? Can I be oddly specific with it?
Yes, go for it.
Because I'm being so specific, I'm going to say 2 things, if that's all right with you. I will say, I think the thing I enjoy creating the most is my radio show.
Yeah.
Purely because that's like a pipe dream to have a radio show. That was something I didn't think would ever happen.
Yeah.
And I think like sitting down and making that, and also I don't. The thing is, I don't promote that. I only put out maybe one post on the day when it comes out
Yeah.
because a radio station promotes it and does that as
Hmm.
well, and which I'm grateful for. So again, I don't have all like the extra additional work other than recording. So maybe it's
Yeah.
just me as being a lazy sod about that. But but yeah, I'll give two specific examples. So there's one. It's not a review technically that I did for Northern Exposure. I did a report.
Yeah.
Um, I reported on on a brass band, which is way out of anything that Northern Exposure
Yeah.
do. But we angled it. So we
Hmm.
said it's a volunteer band,
Hmm.
but it's a military band. So it's the Northwood. It's like a Northwood military band,
Right. Yeah.
local to Northwest London in Northwood, and they obviously there's people from the military in there, but you can be a volunteer locally and volunteer for the band.
Yeah.
The way I know about them is Koresh is their percussionist,
Oh yeah.
so that and he's not in the military, he's a volunteer. So
Hmm.
we so I was going to a concert to support Koresh and the whole event and that they were putting on, and I said to the magazine, I said, look, can we do this and frame it in the
Hmm.
way of here's how you can find opportunities as a young musician growing
Yeah.
up in the UK. There's volunteer bands all over the country.
Hmm.
Here's a way to get playing experience, to meet people. Some of those people in that band have played at Wembley Stadium.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like they are some of the top of their game. They just
Hmm.
happen to also be in the military.
Yeah.
And it's like, so I basically created a news report. And I'm really proud of what I did. It took me a long, long time. It took me a
Yeah.
long time to do. And thank God it did quite well numbers wise as well,
Yeah.
because it deserved it for the time I think that it took to
Hmm.
make it. But I'm really proud of that. I think that was really good. And yeah, the Northwood Headquarters Volunteer Band as well. They're fantastic and very accommodating on me doing interviews and things like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm very proud of that. I'm also really proud of one interview I did for my podcast, which is I interviewed an artist called Her Orange Coat,
Hmm.
and she's a fantastic folk singer, right?
Yeah.
And you know me well enough. You know I'm not a pushy interviewer.
Yeah.
I open the door to allow people to come in if they want to open up
Hmm.
and open old wounds and things
Yeah.
like that, and give me all of that. But I only open the door. I don't push people in or put
Yeah.
people in. I only open it. So but she did walk through the door and she gave me a really honest, open, introspective, and quite emotional interview, and it was absolutely just a beautiful interview. I felt, and
Hmm.
I don't know what I did to get to that. I
Yeah.
don't know if it was just that's just in her nature, but you know, I feel proud of the fact that I managed to give her, or no, that I managed to, you know, be a platform that
Yeah.
allows artists like herself to
Hmm.
express that and have the space and a safe space as well to express it,
Yeah.
to express and give important messages as well. That's I just felt really touched by that, and that made me proud. So
Yeah.
that's those are the two sort of. I'll be oddly specific with it.
That's a good way to be. But when you go through all these people, you're interviewing them, if it's for the radio station, magazine, whatever.
Mm,
So you do all this on your podcast as well. Is there
mm.
anyone who you haven't had so far who you would love to interview or do a
Oh,
piece on? And you'd be like,
there's so.
these people. It can be
Oh,
anyone. They can be the top, or they can be people just
yeah.
starting out.
I mean, there's so many. There's
Hmm.
so many. Yeah. I see some of them I can't say because I am kind of in talks. So I
Yeah.
have to be really careful.
Hmm.
So yeah, I mean, obviously, like for me, Bruce Springsteen would be a huge person
Yeah.
to interview.
Hmm.
I was Paul McCartney and things like the greats.
Yeah.
Yes, of course, I'd
Yeah.
love to interview the greats. Um, there's a lot of artists I'd love to interview
Hmm.
purely because of their story. And there's artists I'd like to interview to give them a platform to express their story as well. You know, like I read today, the NME, I think, said, put out a
Yeah.
post about it, that the singer Duffy is going to be doing
Hmm.
a Disney Plus documentary telling her story. Because
Oh yeah.
for those who, I won't go into what it is, her story here, because I don't want your video to be flagged up for anything. But
Right.
her story, basically. She kind of faded away after her second album, and nobody really knew where she went.
Yeah.
Assumed that because her second album didn't do as well as Rock Fairy,
Hmm.
that might have been the reason why she faded away. It turns out something absolutely horrific happened to her
Yeah.
privately, and it is horrific. It's disgusting. It's illegal. It's horrible.
Yeah.
It should never happen to anyone. Someone like her, I would love to be able to be a platform that allows her to
Hmm.
tell that story. Obviously, Disney
Yeah.
Plus are doing that, and obviously Disney Plus is the much better place for her story to be told, because her story is going to help a lot of people.
Yeah.
But it's going to help at least 50% of the world's population. If not more, probably will help more, because I think the issue stems across all different people from all different walks of life.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd love to be that platform for someone one day, maybe.
Hmm.
Yeah, there are artists coming up that are doing huge things. When's this coming out?
Next week. It's coming out
Okay,
around Easter sort of time. So
okay. So my latest podcast
yeah.
guest is an artist that it's a band. I got one of the band members called Dave from a band called Adult Leisure.
Hmm.
They're a band that I'm very much happy to have interviewed, because I can see them now just going to that next level. I can
Yeah.
just see it happening.
Hmm.
They're already doing fantastically, and I just think that they are just going to hit that next level very, very soon.
Yeah.
So I think I got them at a great time. I've always said about another artist. I mean, I know you asked about artists I haven't interviewed, but
Yeah.
I guess this gives a bit of an insight. I interviewed someone called Freya Everest,
Hmm.
who I saw live at a gig at a place called 140. It was a gig by a company called Tatami, which are a great
Yeah.
company. And she played there, and she came on my podcast, and I genuinely think I've heard her music in like a not a finished state. I've heard it in a work in progress state,
Yeah.
and I know she's working on releasing new music very soon. Um, I think she has got potential to go really far in the industry. I genuinely think she can go really
Mm.
far. So I'm really glad that I've had her interviewed on my podcast at a very early point in her career,
Yeah.
because one day I can see interviewing Freya Everest being a bit unobtainable for the podcast. So I think she could outgrow my podcast very easily. So yeah, I'm very glad that I've interviewed her. It doesn't really answer the question, because there is one that I can think of that. Put it this way, we are just waiting for things to die down and get a little bit less hectic because of an album release and an album launch show and a tour
Yeah.
that's about to go off, and it's going to be absolutely major and do really well. And then we're going to speak to her and see if we can get her
That's
to come on the
great.
podcast as well. So yeah, I can't say too much, but that will happen. Hopefully,
We
hopefully,
should keep an
hopefully.
eye out. Keep an eye out. Keep my
Yeah.
fingers crossed. So
Yes, please do, please do.
one thing that me and you again have talked about privately is that you go to a lot of little gigs with grassroots people and people starting up and the
Mm,
lower down the ladder, I suppose.
yeah.
I met sort of people. Do you ever go to a gig with the same person a couple of times or something, and then you realise they are going to another level?
Yeah,
And
100%.
what is
I see
it
it a lot.
to you that you think, oh, they have? What makes you think, yeah, they've gone up now? What is the difference to you?
The difference is the difference is usually confidence in the
Yeah.
artist. You can see it in the artist performance. They become more confident. So the biggest example of this for me is Els Bailey. I've been a fan of Els Bailey since the very early days, and I've seen her perform in front of 50 people,
Yeah.
and literally last week, the week we're recording this, I saw her perform in front of about 700-800 people.
Oh, wow.
And that won't be the biggest gig on her tour.
Yeah.
Like, she's now performing at festivals in front of thousands of people.
Yeah.
I saw her at the Evening Blues Festival, for example, headlining that. I mean, she probably is Britain's biggest Americana roots blues
Yeah.
export right now, and people know who she is over in the US, and that's a huge thing for British blues. That's
Yeah.
not something that happens often, so that's a really big thing. So seeing her grow, she's just gone to that next level. And where you could see it was in her confidence. The first time I saw her, it was like seeing the usual that you see from artists on the scene. You
Yeah.
know, uh, very good at what they do. You know, great in front of an audience. But then the next time we saw her, suddenly she was walking around the room on
Hmm.
her own, no band, just
Yeah.
with a guitar.
Oh
And bearing
wow.
in mind that she doesn't normally play instruments on stage, she plays a bit of piano sometimes,
Yeah.
but she doesn't normally play them on stage. And I don't think she'd been playing guitar that long when she
Hmm.
did this. So to then
Yeah.
see her do that next time I saw her was a huge thing. And then as it's just gone on and on and on, and it's snowballed. You know, I've ended up seeing her so many times, and now she is just a force to be reckoned with.
Hmm.
She is just top of her game. So just confident and just yeah, just she just the whole crowd is in the palm of her hands. You
Yeah.
know, she's literally got them hanging there, like they are on her every word. So yeah, that's how I tend to notice it. I
Yeah.
could see artists with potential a lot. There's
Hmm.
always artists with a lot of
Yeah.
potential. Um, sometimes that potential doesn't get realized.
Hmm.
Sometimes it's potentially because the personality style just isn't there for that next level maybe,
Yeah.
and that they found the level that they're comfortable at. Sometimes it is that, you know, they've got to quit their job to go full time, and they're
Yeah.
gonna have to take massive pay cut for it. That can happen. COVID was a major one
Yeah.
that just knocks a load of steam out of people.
Mm.
It also raised people as well. You know, there's a band I love called Marissa and the Moths, and
Mm.
you know, Marissa and the Moths were raised because like COVID was massive for them.
Yeah.
They did these live streams on Facebook, and they drew a massive following from that. Adult Leisure actually had that as well. They
Oh yeah.
formed sort of just before COVID and
Mm.
hadn't gigged until after COVID. And because they've been putting music out, because they could record independently and just send the songs to each other
Yeah.
and just keep adding to it, because they put out loads of songs, they'd grown a following and they sold out their first ever gig,
Oh wow.
which is mad
That's good.
because
Yeah.
they generate that following. So yeah, it's easy to see potential in some artists. Sometimes it's realized, sometimes it's not. I'm trying to think if there's one that I think will go to the next level. I mean, yeah, there's a band Dia Matrona.
Hmm.
They're already at that next level, I think,
Yeah.
but they've got potential to get bigger and bigger. Sometimes you see a band where they've outgrown the tour that they are currently on.
Yeah. Hmm.
And that's the beauty of the internet and virality and things like that. They can outgrow it whilst being on tour.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw them playing for £16.50 at the Garage, which is a pretty decent sized venue, but
Hmm.
£16.50 is way too low for a band of what was their size on that
Yeah.
tour. They could have been charging 30 or quid by that point, and that's because they'd just grown online and things, and the tour was already booked
Mm.
in, and people paid the tickets. So,
Yeah.
so yeah, it happens. But yeah, it's nice to see when they grow. It's
So
nice to see it.
when you go and see some of these bands or the singers or whatever they may be, do you ever go and see someone and instantly think, yeah, this is going nowhere? Does it ever go in your head up, this is going nowhere?
No, no, not necessarily. Not at all. Actually, I'm gonna say not at all because the reason being is that, you know, there's I go and see loads of artists, right? And
Yeah.
occasionally we'll go to see like for example, like a band like Dia Matrona. Obviously, they are an indie rock band, right?
Yeah.
Um, you know, I I'm more on the Americana, folk, blues, country scenes, but
Hmm.
I do go and see, you know, other stuff. Like I said, Marissa and the Moths, they are
Yeah.
hard rock, heavy metal bands, so I do go see other stuff. But yeah, they sometimes when you go to see stuff outside of your genre, there's some bands you see and you go, yeah, it's not necessarily my thing. I still enjoy it. That's the thing. I still enjoy it, and I
Yeah.
might go home and listen to them if they got an album and things. Still drop it a listen.
Hmm.
Um, but I wouldn't necessarily go and see them. But again, it's horses for courses, right?
Yeah.
Somebody else will be very much interested in going to see these artists, and a lot of them have like quite like a decent sized following, right?
Hmm.
So they obviously have got their audience. It's just that I'm not that target
Yeah.
audience. I'm kind of like a what's the word, like a uh sort of I'm not part of the 10% of the 10%.
Yeah.
I'm just part
Yeah.
of the 10%, you know?
Yeah.
So I am still engaged and interested and want them to do well, and I will listen to a bit of their music, but I'm not like gonna get heavily
Yeah.
invested. Does that make sense?
So when you go to these gigs, I'm keeping on with the gigs. I'm keeping on this little theme. I've got
Mm,
10
yeah,
minutes left, but
feel
I'm
free.
keeping it on
Feel free.
because it keeps coming up another question in my head. This one is, what makes someone or a band or a singer underwhelming if you go and see them?
Underwhelming.
And they're some of them are like, wow, and the other one's like, oh, they're good, but what
Yeah.
would make
Okay.
an underwhelming performance for you personally?
Oh, interesting. See, because the thing is, like, it's very rare. I think I can count it on one hand how many times I've been to a gig and I've been like, that's not that
Yeah,
good a performance, if that makes sense. And often it could be like you just got them on a bad day.
yeah,
Can be they might be ill. They could
mm,
easily be ill and things
yeah,
like that. Like that can happen. Yeah. I mean, what I no, what upsets me, not upsets me, wrong word. What I think what underwhelms me more
hmm
is when you go and see an artist and they kind of they feel a bit like sometimes you do get the occasional artist that feels a bit. This is like 0.1% of
yeah,
artists, by the way, that I've seen. Very much the smallest minority of them. But you do get the occasional one that like they'll come out, sign merch and things like that. But you can occasionally see that if it seems a bit of a chore.
yeah,
That's when I get a bit underwhelmed, like the facade on stage or the not facade, the acts you
yeah,
see on stage suddenly isn't the act that they are in real
yeah.
life of that or the person they are in real life. That underwhelms a bit. Also, I mean, it underwhelms because it's like I'm supporting someone who doesn't really
No, it doesn't
acting like they
care.
don't care that
Yeah,
I'm supporting them
yeah.
by buying some merch and getting it signed, etc. or whatever. So, yeah, I find that I'm not too into. But again, I can count it on like one hand, like
Yeah.
the amount of times that's happened. And if you think I've over the years, I've seen, I've seen probably a 300-400
Yeah.
artists, right? And it's just like probably more than that because I don't count. Uh, yeah, it's a very small number, very small.
At least it's not a large one. Don't come
Yeah, but
around
that's
here.
yeah,
Don't come around
yeah.
here. It might be. It
I
might
know,
go up then.
I
I
know.
have
Yeah, I
seen.
mean,
I
yeah.
have seen people online and people around here, and sometimes they get a musician on to kind of compare their gig.
Mm.
Would you ever do something like that? Would you be interested in comparing an evening, or would you
Yeah,
prefer the gig?
I'm always happy to do it. I've done it a couple of times. I've compared a couple of gigs before. I love it. It's great. It's just it's a lost art because
Yeah.
like very rare do you go to a gig and actually see someone comparing.
Mm.
And the only time they do it tends to be because a radio presenter who's famous has turned up and
Yeah.
they go, "Oh, could you get on and just say a few words before the band come on?" kind of thing.
Yeah.
That tends to be what ends up happening, like someone from Radio 2 or an ex
Yeah.
Capital radio presenter or something, forgive me, has turned up or something like that. I love doing it. I've done it a couple of times, as I say. I'd love to do a live interview on stage with an artist before they do a
Yeah.
performance.
hmm
I'd love to do that. But these opportunities, they're few and far between. But I have had a few. So, and, they come up every now and again. I've put my name forward for things. I'm currently in talks to
Yeah.
maybe do quite a big comparing gig.
Yeah.
So,
Fingers crossed
like
again.
yeah, fingers crossed. I don't know if it will come to fruition, but
Yeah.
I'm in talks at least. So
Yeah.
yeah, I do enjoy that.
And when it comes to
Forgive
your
me.
music or your podcast,
Hmm.
everything you do you find a lot of the steam that you get and a lot of momentum you get is from other people pushing you, or is it your own hard work? What do you find is more? If you've got to choose one, is it more other
Yeah,
people or more you?
that is a fantastic question. Um, it is more me.
Yeah.
I what pushes me is for example Koresh has got 2 production credits on the album
Yeah.
just based on suggestions on songs that he's obviously been adding drums to, and
hmm
he's offered some suggestions to me. So that drives me to improve and add and do better. And he was 100% right in both times he's done it so far. um yeah, it is me. I push myself to do what I do.
Yeah.
But sometimes I do get a little bit precious, and I'm a bit like, it's a lot. I'm doing too much,
Yeah.
and then like it just takes someone like someone like Fumes will be like, yeah, but you've also got this, you got that, you got that.
Yeah.
Just bring you down to earth,
Mm.
like come on, stop being a whiny little diva,
Yeah.
and it just brings you back down to earth and grounds you again.
Yeah.
Like that happens. So I do rely on people for that.
Mm.
Part of the problem is that I've got so much drive to do it that
Yeah.
I probably do too much of it at times,
Mhm.
and that's what causes that to
Yeah.
have to happen. But yeah, I do rely on people in that regard as well. So yeah, it's a bit of both, probably more me, but
Yeah.
I think everyone, it's important to have a very supportive group of people around you that
Yeah.
understand what you do, know why you do it as well. And because like so many people like have asked me like, why are you doing music if you're not going to play live? It's like you don't get the creative process, and
Yeah.
it's like, sorry, this sounds like me being a whiny little diva,
Oh
but
no, I understand.
but like no, but it's the same with like the podcast. So, like people were like, when I was putting podcasts ahead of like a couple of real life things, it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, but what you don't really, people say, why are you doing that? It's like, but you don't realize the guest I'm getting on this week is quite a big guest for me for where I am
Yeah.
currently with the podcast. This is my portfolio. This
Yeah.
is what gets me to that next stage. If I
Yeah.
do want to move into it as a living or anything like that, this is what gets me there.
Yeah.
And you have to make sacrifices to get to those places sometimes.
Yeah.
And it's people not understanding that sometimes
Annoyance.
is important. So having the rights, well, no, it's not. It's because I can see it from that perspective.
Yeah.
I can see it. It's just that it's a bit like what it is. It's about having the supportive people around you that can remind you that when people do say that,
Yeah.
that's not. It's not a reflection on you.
Mm.
It's a reflection on them just not having the same interests or
Yeah.
the same that the way they work isn't wired the same as you. I mean, we have to remember we're all artists, right?
Yeah.
We're the weird ones. Everyone
better
else is
ones.
normal.
Yeah.
Like we are the odd ones. Like so, we have to remember that. That's so other people won't necessarily know how it works for us and how our heads are like wired. Like there's a reason there's so much neurodivergence in the arts because people are just it suits that, right?
Yeah.
And people who aren't neurodivergent won't understand neurodivergence in the same way as someone else who's neurodivergent. So there is that. So yeah, just having the right support network around to help you through those kind of moments is really important. So yeah, that's where I'm really lucky. I have got that, especially with like East London Recordings and all the people there, and then all the people who aren't on the record label that are involved in the podcast. Like those people are also so great as well. They're all very kind. Like I only experience kindness.
Yeah.
The times I don't experience kindness is when I make some kind of social media post about it's usually the Beatles or the police.
What?
So, yeah, then you get some weird comments. You get some
Yeah.
weird comments, but I just ignore them anyway. I find it quite funny.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I find it quite funny.
We are
But yeah.
coming down with clock is in a corner saying, "Yep, time's up nearly." So everyone should know you by now. So, but still, do say where you can listen to you and all this.
Yeah, easy peasy. All of the streaming services that DistroKid allow me to put them on, it's all on them. So yeah, just Dan Wicks is easy. If it doesn't come up, just type in Dan Wicks and then Metroland as one word, Metro and then Land, all one word. That'll bring it up. If you want to listen to the podcast again, it's Music Fishbowl on pretty much all the major streaming platforms. It's on YouTube as well in video form now, so you can go there. The radio show is on Mixcloud, the Americana Fishbowl with Dan Wicks on Islington Radio. Loads of great shows on Islington Radio as well to listen to, so there's loads of stuff there for you. And then all the Northern Exposure stuff is also on my Instagram, so that's at Music Fishbowl. You can find everything I do through my Instagram because there's a link in the bio that literally goes everywhere. So yeah, you can find it all on there as well.
But it's fantastic and so quickly thrown all that out before time's gone. Well done. You got it all out there. But thank you for being here. I'm going to get you back on again because it's ever so enjoyable. It really is enjoyable.
Oh, thank you. I'm glad you enjoy it. I enjoy it as well. It's fun. It's the tables turned, so it's different for me.